Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the #1 sports podcast, broadcasting Sundays at 9 a.m.-ish in Sacramento, California. Sports Talk 916. Now here are your hosts, Greg Bowl and Coach Greg Barrosi.
So does Friday night at 8 o'clock count as Sunday at 9 a.m.-ish?
Yeah, it's very much ishy.
Well, hey, guess what? We're back. It's only been, 35 weeks since we had a show last? And nothing's happened, so there was nothing for us to talk about. Right. And nothing happened to you and me personally, so, we have no excuses. But welcome, episode number 296 of this little shindig we call Sports Talk 916. I'm Coach Greg. Over there, I don't know, I think he's right there for me, is Mr. Chief, Greg Bowl. And together we're the two-headed monsters of Greg that we call Sports Talk 916. What's happening?
Not much, man. Just same old. Just trying to stay afloat, keep everything, moving along nicely.
Keep everything attached to my body.
Yeah, that too. And like I said to you earlier, if we keep playing the game the way that we're playing, we'll have our 300th episode by April, and that'll be
no doubt about it. So my fault. The last couple of shows, I had a little bit of a setback with the hobble stick, the leg. Had a little bit of an infection. Had to go into the hospital with some surgery. I've decided that if you want to get healthy, the last place in the world you want to be is a hospital. Had a couple of surgeries. Everything is fine. Back on the mend. Hopefully in the next 6 or 8 weeks. I think I'm on the 60-day disabled list right now.
Something like that, yeah.
So I'm on injured reserve, and I can come back after week 8. So one quick little story. Most of you guys know that I did have an amputation on my leg a couple years ago. So, but it doesn't stop me. And one of the reasons is I'm diabetic. And so for those of you that don't know, that means no carbs, no sugar, not supposed to be eating that kind of stuff. So I get into the hospital, and the first breakfast I have, I didn't get to choose it, was French toast, oatmeal, and a muffin. That's pretty much like the top 3 of the you should not be eating this. So my whole week consisted of eating like crap like that. And that's why I say the worst place to get healthy is a hospital.
Wait, and they couldn't change your diet for you?
That was the diabetic diet plan.
Oh. That doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay.
Yeah, no.
It sounds very Kaiserish to me.
Well, it is. So they basically feed you whatever they want and then just try to regulate it with drugs. So
pretty much.
I've eaten a lot better since I got home.
Yeah, for sure. So glad to hear you're doing good. Glad you didn't lose more of your leg.
Yeah, I lost about 2 inches of it, but that's all right.
2 inches matter, man.
Well, from some parts of my body, that would be a whole lifetime.
Stop.
What about you?
No, just
what happened last Sunday? You were tired.
Well, I ran 2 Spartan races over the weekend. 9 miles on Saturday, 4 miles on Sunday.
Oh, you mean those little obstacle course things you do?
Yep. And just I pushed myself to the red line both days, trying to set personal time records, which I succeeded. So
you did a good job. Yeah, I was proud of you.
So I got another one this weekend down at Oracle Park in San Francisco. That'll be fun.
That should be fun, huh?
Stadium, so it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
But let's talk sports. Enough of us. Let's talk about some things. So the big one is the Kings continue to king it up. Sacramento Kings, man, they can't seem to find their identity. They start the season off 0-5 and look absolutely terrible. They lose Marvin Bagley game 1. Things get going. November comes around, and they beat the Jazz on the first by 1. Then they thump the Knicks by 21. And then they lose to the Raptors, which is expected. And then they thump the Hawks, thump the Blazers, and then lose what should have not been a loss against the Lakers. Best team in the West, take him down to the wire. NBA admits that it should have been an offensive foul on LeBron on the play previous to the final play of the game, and then it should have been a foul on Anthony Davis on Harrison Barnes in the end of the game. Nothing you can do about that. Come back 2 nights later, beat the best team in the East, the Celtics. They were on a 10-game winning streak. So they've won 6 of their last 8. They start to find an identity. This is all without Marvin Bagley and De'Aaron Fox. And,
right.
They're playing really good basketball at times. Then they really learn to stink it up. Like tonight, the 8th seed in the East Nets without Kyrie Irving come in and just absolutely decimate the Kings tonight. The Kings didn't.
Yeah, but you're missing Bagley. You're missing Fox. You're missing Bogey. You're missing Ariza. The Knicks are a better team top to bottom when the Kings are missing that many players.
Yeah, the Knicks are a good team, but they played the Nets tonight.
Or the Nets. I'm sorry, I meant to say the Nets.
But here's the deal, though. Bogey was huge. Bogey was huge against the Suns. They needed him tonight, but the rest of the team tonight played like they didn't want to be a part of the game. They just didn't look interested whatsoever. And it's one of those nights, and it's a long trip. They just played at home against the Suns. They fly across country in 3 days. They have a game against the Nets. It's gonna happen. They're gonna lay eggs from time to time.
Huh.
That's a given. You don't expect this team to win every single game, although some fans do. But it's one of those things where, who is this team? Should we be upset when they lose these games? Should we be really excited when they win these games? Are they playing above their level when they beat teams like the Suns or they beat teams like the Celtics? Or is that the expected? Or are they playing stinkfest when they lose the teams like the Nets when they're shorthanded, or lose the teams, like the Suns on opening night? Where is the barometer that as a fan we need to figure out what the hell is going on with this team?
In one short answer, the answer is yes. They're not a 60-win team. So they're not going to win a lot of those games that you would think they should, because they're just not ready yet. There may be a, 45 to 48 win team.
Are they though?
I think if they're playing at full strength, they are. I think they're playing with 3 of their top 5 guys on the bench injured. I don't think they are. So I think you have to take it when they're at full strength and see what they do. They're going to stick it up, even if they have all of their guns. They're still going to stick it up. It's just that's what happens. And so, again, I don't put much stock into an individual game. It's got to be, you have to look at stretches, and they're going to have some stink stretches, like the 0-5 start, and then they're going to have some good runs where they go 6-2. It's going to be that way all season, and we just have to get used to it. And I think that you put this team in the East, they're probably healthy a 4 or 5 seed. In the West, probably not so much, although the West is pretty disappointing so far this year.
6 and 8 right now, they'd be in the 8th seed in the East. They're in the 9th seed in the West. Yeah, this team needs to figure things out. And right now, honestly, there's one person that I feel bad for, and I never thought I would say this in my life, but there's one person right now that I feel really bad for, and that is Luke Walton. Luke Walton has a huge decision coming up because Marvin Bagley looks like he's going to be cleared to play in the next couple of games.
I don't think there's a decision at all.
Okay, so if you're Walton, what do you do with Bagley right now?
I think you slowly work him back into the lineup over a 4 or 5 game stretch, 3 or 4 game stretch. Bring him off the bench the first couple of games. Give him maybe 10 or 15 minutes to start out for those first couple of games in non-crunch time and see how he does. And then 3rd or 4th game, maybe you throw him into crunch time. And maybe by the 5th game, now you're starting him. And
who's he starting over?
Bielitsa probably.
Has Bielitsa so Bielitsa's been starting. So let's even take away the starting role. He's not big enough to play a true center.
No.
So you can't replace Dedmon.
No.
He's not. There's nobody on this roster right now that deserves the minutes that he's getting more than Rashawn Holmes.
Right.
He's going to take away Holmes' minutes. Does he have a role in the starting lineup?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Who?
Bagley.
Bagley? Of course he does.
Who are you going to? So, assuming we go back to the original starting lineup, which was Dedmon, Bagley, Barnes, Buddy, and Fox, we just agreed that he's not big enough to start at center.
Right.
Rashawn Holmes, who has been playing out of his mind, the best player on the team, energy-wise, passion on the court, statistically, are you gonna
bring him off the bench? Bring him off the bench.
Rashawn Holmes?
Bring him off the bench. Why not? It's not like put him against the second team players. Let him dominate even more. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think you have to work Bagley into it.
Why can't you have Bagley off the bench and let him dominate against the second string players?
Well, I think you do for a stretch, but you don't do it all year.
But let's say you do it for 4 games, and let's say that lights a bigger fire under Rashawn Holmes' ass because he knows he's going to lose his job, and he continues to play out of his mind.
They're not going to throw him at the end of the bench and just let him sit there.
No,
they're still going to play him. He's still going to get minutes.
But why can't he continue to earn his minutes that he's rightfully earned until Bagley proves otherwise?
Because Bagley's a starter. Bagley's a starter. Bagley is
he though? Because last year he wasn't a starter.
Well, he wasn't a starter because the coach didn't want to play a rookie.
Right.
And you were one of those people. You were one of those people that complained all year saying that Bagley should be starting.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't. I just said Bagley should be playing more. And my thing at the end of the thing was I didn't give a shit who started. It was who finished. And Bagley was on the court. I can give 2 fucks less who starts the game.
And that's kind of the thing that I think you can do is you can see over the course of the game. One game it might be Dedmon and Bagley. The next game it could be somebody else who finishes up. I think that I don't think this is a bad problem. You're making it sound like it's a big issue. I don't think it's a bad problem at all. You can't have too many good players.
Right.
So, and I've always thought that Luke Walton was underrated as a coach. I was a proponent of hiring him from the beginning. And I think that one of his strengths is going to be dishing out those minutes so they're effective and using the first 40 minutes to see who should be on the court the last 8 minutes.
I'm just worried that you're going to lose I'm worried that you're going to lose Rashawn Holmes and his productivity because there's this false misconception that just because he's the number 2 overall pick that he needs to be your starting power forward.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to figure out is he really a starter?
We don't know. How many games has he started?
Right. So why would you thrust him right back in the starting lineup when Rashawn Holmes has been one of the best players on the court?
Well, James said it too, and I said it before he got on. You don't throw him in the first game. It's going to be, I said 2 to 5. James is saying 2 to 8 games to see. And again, I don't care where those minutes are coming from. I don't care who's playing those minutes. Just get me 5 guys out there that can play. And if Bagley's a better starter for his own game, then I'd say start him. But everybody else is going to get their minutes. There's minutes that aren't going to disappear. You're going to have to be creative, but there's minutes that aren't going to disappear. Hell, you can move, for now, you move Bogey to point guard, and then that opens up, you could put Harrison even at a 2, and that gives you one more spot for some minutes at the 3 that some of those guys can play too, and just go a big lineup.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where we have to. I mean, clearly, it's going to be tough for Walton to figure out. But
absolutely.
Let me ask you this then. Let's say they figure out the Marvin Bagley thing. At what point do you have to start looking into the possibility of trading Bogdan Bogdanovic?
How long has this team played together as a team?
That's not what I asked you.
That's what I'm going to ask you. How good is this team? Do we know how good this team could be? And why break up? Right now, he's the best thing he got going. What are you going to get back for him?
Also, already said, because he didn't sign his offer, that he's going to test for agency and look to leave.
He's a restricted free agent.
But if he plays out of his mind like he so far has this early season, coming off the bench, if teams start throwing a bunch of shit at him, you're going to have to make a decision because you already offered him based on what Buddy signed for, which I'm starting to really hate that Buddy Hield contract, by the way.
Right.
You've already offered him what was fair based on what Buddy got, which he felt was insulting. He didn't sign it. He's going to be a restricted free agent. If he continues to play on the trajectory that he's playing on right now and starts reaching that European international ball level that he plays on, yeah, he's a restricted free agent. Great. Insert other team here that throws a fucking Brinks truck at him. Do you risk losing him for nothing? Or do you match those offers and then you have to make a decision on who you get rid of, whether it be Bagley or Fox in the next 2 to 3 years?
That's why they play Vladdy so much damn money.
Right, and I get that. But what I'm saying, though, is at what point do you have to really start considering the future, given the fact that it is now? And yeah, James, he could be a sign and trade because he's a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
But how do we know that the offer that, like, let's say, I don't know, a team that has a bunch of Serbian dudes. Let's say the Mavericks. They have Luka and Bogey on the same team. Let's say they throw, like I said, they back a Brinks truck up to his driveway and say, "Hey, we're going to sign you." And the Kings are like, "Fuck, we can't orchestrate a trade that's going to make sense for the Kings. We lose him, we get a second-round draft pick. Ooh, cool, we have his bird rights. Big fucking deal." Or do you look at it and go, well, he facilitates the offense a little bit better than Fox has this year already. I mean, yeah, Fox was hurt and he's been gone. Hopefully Fox figures it out. Well, did we fuck up and take and not take Luka over Bagley and Bagley?
No.
Out? No, I'm just running through scenarios. I don't believe that, but at the end of the year, who knows? Maybe Bagley bombs and he plays like shit. I mean, can you handcuff this team not knowing what's coming if he continues to play, or do you look into a deal now, or not now, but at the deadline for some other pieces? I think that Vladdy at the end of the year is going to regret the Dedmon deal. I think he's going to be dead weight, no pun intended. And Ariza was a great veteran signing, but he's not going to do anything for us. Our backup point guard situation, I mean, Yogi's good in spurts, but I don't think Yogi Ferrell is going to be much of anything. Like, if this team is getting toward the playoffs, obviously if they're at the deadline and they're in like the 4th, 5th seed, then all bets are off. Like, you leave them, you hope something great happens at the end of the year, and you cross everything you can possibly cross and hope that he stays.
Right.
But if it's like last year where they're on the brink and they possibly could make a move and you have to make decisions, maybe you make a move for Bogey. And James says to Orlando, they have young bigs. I mean, if you could go to Orlando and get me like an Aaron Gordon or somebody for Bogdan Bogdanovic, I'm down. I'm doing
everybody wants Aaron Gordon.
Right.
Everybody wants Aaron Gordon.
But I mean, Orlando has about as much of a love affair with the Euros as Vladdy does here. I mean, they tried their shit on Mario, what's his name, Super Mario. It didn't work out. They had another young guy that didn't work out. At what point? I mean, something's got to happen. And like you said earlier, it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have too many talented players.
Right.
But right now, I'm worried. It sucks to be Walton. You got to worry about what to do with Bagley coming back. In a number of weeks, it's going to be okay. What do we do with Fox? And how do we work Fox back in? Especially if Bogey is playing the point amazingly, which he has, which he's been filling in great. Fox is going to have to figure something out because he started the year off with poor decision making, and it was like what 6 or 7 or 5 games, 6 games before he got. So it's not a really big sample size to even criticize him, but there's a lot of things to figure out. At this point, if Bogey comes back from this hamstring relatively quickly and Buddy keeps shooting 1 for fucking whatever he's shooting from the 3-point line, at what point does Bogey go back into the starting lineup at the 2 guard and you bring Buddy off the bench?
I don't know if you can sign Buddy to that contract and then sit him on the bench.
Why? If he's not producing, what do you do?
I think you have to let him shoot his way out of it.
He's been.
It's not like he's forgotten how to shoot. He's just going through a cold streak, and my guess is he signed a big contract. He's trying to justify that contract, and he's pressing. And maybe you sit him for a while, let him get his head together, and let him get back to playing ball like Buddy plays.
But is that the style that they're playing right now? Like, is there freedom for that? I mean, like let's look at what's going on with Buddy Hield right now. So opening night was who? It was the Suns, right?
Yeah.
Why is it not giving me the whole? Anyways, we'll start with the Hornets game, the Hornets was. Anyways, we'll start where it's giving me October 30th against the Hornets. 23 points, 7 of 16 from 3. Good night. I'm good with that. But he shot 8 for 22 otherwise. Against the Jazz, 18 points, 0 for 5 from 3. The Knicks, 5 for 11. The Raptors, 5 for 7. I'll take that. But he was 7 of 16 from the floor. Against the Hawks, 9 of 17, 3 from 8 from the floor. Blazers, he shot 7 of 21, 2 of 11. Against the Lakers, he shot 6 for 15 from the floor. 6 of 14 of them were from 3. 7 of 12 against the Celtics. 1 of 7 versus the Suns. 1 of 8 versus the Nets. He's been trying to shoot out of this slump. Maybe he needs to sit down and see the game from a different angle See it come to the bench. We talked about it you said it a few minutes ago with Marvin Bagley. Let him come in and dominate some second stringers for a while.
Yeah.
But put Buddy in against the second stringers. Let him come in against an inferior defender. Maybe he'll make some goddamn threes and get him back on the court. And what's bad is these poor shooting nights. He's averaging 32 minutes a game right now. He has enough opportunity to get this shit out of his system, and he's just not doing it.
Well, he's been he's a streaky player.
Sugarcoat it. He's been bad.
He has, absolutely. But again, somebody at that level doesn't forget how to shoot.
Clearly, he's been shooting more than anyone else on the team. He just forgot how to put the hoop.
He doesn't. It's not like he forgets how to put the ball in the hoop.
So here's my question though, because you listen to Doug Christie, you listen to Grant Napier all the time, and Jerry Reynolds used to say it all the time too. They need to get an open shot. They just need to see the ball go through the net. They need to shoot a free throw, see the ball go through the net. Why is Buddy relying so much on shooting the three? I just went over all of those different things that he's doing. Why isn't he going, inside the three-point line, get an easy jumper, get an easy 15-footer, get something other than a free throw that shows the ball going through the net to get a feel for the ball again? He's literally just throwing up brick after brick after brick. Maybe he's trying to build a house. He promised to give his house away if he finally gets to the playoffs. Maybe he's trying to build a new house with all the damn bricks he's throwing out. Something isn't going right with Buddy Hield. TJ says he has a cold streak because of all the cold hard cash he got before the season. Is there a possibility that Buddy played out of his mind and he's fallen into that normal category of got paid, don't show up?
I would hope not, but so far he's not disproven it, is he? That's what he's showing. Your question of why doesn't he just go settle for a 15-foot jumper and try to get a feel for the game? Name me 2 NBA stars that are doing that. That's not the NBA game right now.
No, it's not. But the NBA game is making shots. So if you could find a way to get an open shot, you get an open shot. There's been multiple times in this cold streak that he's been on that he'll be running the fast break, have a chance to go in and take a shot 5 or 6 feet closer, pulls up 2 feet behind the line. It's poor decision making. The other night against the Suns, a minute something left. Suns are down 11. Buddy goes for a loose ball on a rebound, fouls the guy. Walton rips into him. Buddy's got an ear-to-ear grin on his face. Like, there's something going on with Buddy Hield right now that's not calculating properly to high IQ basketball.
I agree. I do agree with you that.
I think a seat on the bench and a reduction of minutes for a couple of games may be what he needs to get out of this funk.
It's not like it's not like it hasn't been history with him not paying attention to a coach and not respecting a coach. We saw it last year too. Yep. And we blamed Yeager for it, but maybe it wasn't Yeager. Maybe it was Buddy just not caring.
Buddy being Buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, the Kings season is going to be fun. It's early. There's still a lot to talk about, a lot to watch. As the team gets healthy, hopefully they figure it out because this team does have potential, and we got to make sure it's going to work. So let's switch gears a little bit though, because there was the brawl to end it all in the NFL 2 weeks ago, and we haven't got a chance to talk about it yet. So we're going to talk about it here in a moment. But first, we got to pay some bills. What's up, guys? Greg here to remind you that Albert Chavez is the guy to call for all of your mortgage lending needs. Are you ready to go? Finances are all in order and you just need to get approval? Call Albert. Want to buy a home but not sure if your credit is right? Call Albert. You just want to pick the brain of the Mortgage King? Get a plan in place and take the next step to home ownership? Yep. Call Albert. I've called Albert multiple times and I'm so happy that I did. Don't wait. Rates are fantastic right now. Call today. Whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance your current home, call Albert Chavez. 230-1537, or get his information from our website, www.sportstalk916.com, and tell him that Sports Talk sent you. Every time I listen to that cut, I'm like, oh, I did such a damn it. Just fell apart right at the end. Anyways, what's up, Selena? The fight, the brawl, right? Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football. This is a Thursday night game, right?
It's Thursday night, yeah.
It was a night game, and it was nasty. James, you're right. You have to start at the snap of the ball. You can't just watch the clips of this from the moment that he gets taken to the ground. You have to watch the play in its entirety because it paints an entirely different picture for what happened. If you just watch the Twitter clips that shows the fight, you see Rudolph grasping at a helmet, getting his face ripped off, kicking Myles Garrett in the nuts, and then getting smashed over the head with the club. And then you see Marquise Pouncey, who's my favorite of all of this, coming through it, just going fucking ape shit on Myles Garrett. And I think that's great. Protect your quarterback. If you roll it back and watch, well, let me stop you here. You watched it live, right?
Right, but I wasn't paying that. I mean, there was 8 seconds left in the game. So I wasn't watching that closely from the beginning of the play. It was, half-assed watching it the last play of the game, and all of a sudden, holy cow, look at that. There's a fight going on. Oh, shit.
Right. So if you roll it back, my initial thought was like, holy shit, that's crazy. Roll it back, watch the whole play. Rudolph gets rid of the ball on a quick pass early. Garrett comes around, wraps him up, slams him into the ground. And, a lot of people said, oh, we pinned him to the ground. Well, he was off to the side of him, so he didn't necessarily pin him to the ground. But it was just dirty from the jump. Like there was ill intent from the second that ball was snapped. Once he realized it was going to be a passing play, he went for it. He's like, okay, this is my chance. I get one more cheap shot at him. Took him to the ground. And yeah, Mason Rudolph grabbed at his helmet with one hand, trying to get him off of him. He was still pinning him down. Apparently, that was enough to set off Garrett because he jumped up. The face mask yanking and pulling was absolutely just shocking to me. Like how he was just ragdolling him by the neck.
Right.
And then the moment that everyone wants to point at Rudolph, Rudolph kicked him in the nuts.
I would too.
Oh, shit. You're getting your face fucking ripped off. I'm doing whatever I can to get you off of me. I'm kicking you in the nuts. I'm fucking pulling your hair. I'm pinching your dick. I don't give a fuck what it is. Get off of me. And then the helmet gets taken off. He gets clubbed over the head. All bad. Selena, had that been Brady there, would have been some roughing, I guarantee it. There was 0 flags thrown on the play. Yeah, put Brady, put Aaron Rodgers, put who else? Patrick Mahomes in that situation. The referees are getting involved. The referees are in there. They're stopping it.
And I think you get even more from the offensive linemen. Somebody tries to pull that shit on Brady, it's going to be 5 offensive linemen, a couple of tight ends, and a couple of running backs just beating the shit out of people.
The kickers in there like yelling at people. They don't do anything physical. Just they're stop it, guys, stop hitting him. Like just yelling and Martin Kermanica hurts his leg, just jumping up and down yelling, the whole thing. But it was bad. The NFL came out, they levied their punishments, indefinite suspension for Myles Garrett, 3 games
Deserved.
Reduced down 2 games for Marquise Pouncey.
Deserved.
Expected that there was going to be a fine for Mason Rudolph, and then the other defensive end that came in and took the cheap shot on Rudolph got a game. I think they got it right. I think Rudolph.
I do too.
There's another one, Breeze. That would be another one that would the fucking FBI would have came in and stopped the fight. I think Rudolph needs to be fined because he is involved in the situation, and that's still to come. But no suspension for him should be coming. I'm shocked that, and just since we're talking about things being shocked, I'm shocked that Mason Rudolph didn't even fall in concussion protocol. Like he just, he's good, whatever, move on.
Well, if you look at it, he got hit with the padding. He didn't get hit with the helmet. He got hit with the padding. If the helmet was turned around or turned over, he's dead.
No, he is lucky that he's not dead now.
Oh yeah.
Those helmets, the dome of the helmet is designed to take the impact. Right? That's where the most of the padding is. That's where the shock zone area is. The shell around the base of the head and the base of the neck is one of the most rigid parts on that entire helmet. They're designed to not crumble under pressure to crush the neck and around the jawline.
Right, but there's also a good 3/4 to an inch of padding that extend below the shell of the helmet. And that's where he got hit.
He hit him at an angle where it was first contact was the shell.
I didn't see it that way.
But even then though, half an inch rotated elsewhere, we're talking the hardest part of the helmet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Garrett says, James says Garrett should get about 4 games into next year. Yeah, there needs to be quite a lot going on in this to set a precedent. And a lot of people, and I couldn't believe it when I was listening to ESPN the next day, and I think it was Tiki and Tiernan. One of them made the asinine remark that the only person that wasn't punished in the whole situation was the white guy, which I thought was like ridiculous. Don't bring race into this.
That was stupid.
But then during the appeal, Myles Garrett comes out and says there was racial slurs being broadcast by Mason Rudolph. That's what triggered him. And immediately in my mind, I was like, no, you're fucking full of it.
They're just grasping at straws.
When I read that,
yep,
bullshit. Because in the day and age that we live in now, if that was said, and I hope to God that it wasn't, because that doesn't need to be a part of sports. But let's say that it did happen the way that Myles Garrett said it did. Everybody with ears would have heard about it.
Oh yeah,
instantaneously.
Yeah.
Press conference would have been said. He would have ran to his coach. He would have ran to his players. Everyone would have known that Mason Rudolph made a derogatory remark. There's not a soul on this planet that would have not heard about it. It wouldn't have been 2 weeks later for the first time that we've heard about it. Literally grasping for straws. And then after the NFL comes out and says, well, we have no evidence that it was said. Myles Garrett comes out and goes, well, I was promised that me speaking about that, it wouldn't have gone public. So were you hoping it didn't go public because it was a bald-faced lie and you didn't want it to come out? You were just hoping that it was going to rule in your favor? Because if that really was said, that should be public. And Mason Rudolph should be in trouble for it. And it should have been a big deal. But literally, multiple players on both teams, after that came out, the media went to Baker Mayfield, they went to Odell Beckham, they went to one of the coaches on the staff of the Browns, and they said, oh, what did you think about the fact that Mason Rudolph, blah, 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 blah. And their response was, this is the first we're ever hearing of that.
Yeah.
So that completely blew out any legitimacy of it whatsoever.
I think Garrett was he's grasping at straws. If he's going to go down, he's going to take everybody else down with him. He's going to throw shit up against the wall and see what sticks and see what other cliches can I use.
Props to Freddie Kitchens. Props to Baker Mayfield. Props to Odell Beckham. Not one of those guys even remotely tiptoed the line of taking a stance behind Myles Garrett.
No.
And it was like, bravo to you guys. None of them want to. Nope, he's on his own. That's not how the Browns do things. Nope. We're done with it.
Yeah.
The only thing that Rudolph said was "you bitch" to OBJ after he pushed his ass down. OBJ didn't push him down though. I don't know who that was, but it was another defensive end that pushed him down. But regardless, it's a bad look for the league, and of course Raider fans want to come out and go, oh, see, that's why Vontaze Burfict shouldn't have been suspended for as long as he was, because he didn't do something.
No.
No, fuck you. Vontaze Burfict, he was a fucking stub toe away from doing this to somebody.
Yeah.
He's never got anyone's helmet off is the problem.
Yeah. No, he's just a bad egg. And he had history. This isn't, Garrett, he's actually, from what I understand and what people have said, is he's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Off the field, he's kind of I heard him called a Renaissance man. I think he's active in the the community. He's a very intelligent guy. I think he just cracked.
Question for you. Hold on. Just came in my mind. A couple years ago, we made the bold proclamation that the Sacramento Kings were the Cleveland Browns of the NBA.
Okay.
Is Myles Garrett the DeMarcus Cousins of the NFL?
Ooh.
Great guy overall. Amazing in the community. One of the guys you want in your locker room, but he just can't handle himself on the court or on the field in this case. Now, DeMarcus never went to that extreme, obviously, and I don't think DeMarcus Cousins would.
No.
I mean, he's thrown punches, he's thrown mouthpieces, he's done whatever, but I don't think like he'd pick up a chair and go like fucking Mick Foley on anybody. But
no, I don't think so.
Or is he the Dennis Rodman of the NFL?
I don't know.
On our test, maybe.
And Ndamukong Suh or Ndamukong Suh?
Suh. Yeah, I don't know. We'll move on though. It'll be interesting to watch how that pans out. And it looks like Pouncey's gonna miss the revenge game, which is exactly what I said was gonna happen. They're gonna hold the extension or suspension off so he can get to.
And that game's going to be the tightest officiated game in the NFL this season.
I think they've already thrown flags on that game.
Yeah.
Real quick, Niners, Packers. Biggest game of the year. It got flexed to Sunday night. That's why we're doing our show now. I have a question for you that pissed off so many 49er fans. It's unfucking believable. My statement in one of the Niners groups was this. The Niners need to go 1-2, or need to at least win one, if not two of the next games over the course of this next three.
Okay.
Falcons, Ravens. I don't think we have a snowball's chance in hell of beating the Ravens. They're just that good. The Saints, I said Falcons, it's the Saints. The Saints lost to the Falcons.
Cats eat birds, it doesn't matter.
Right, it's just birds. The Packers got embarrassed by the Chargers. The Niners are better than both the Falcons and the Chargers. These two games are winnable.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be winnable if George Kittle's hurt, Emmanuel Sanders is hurt, Deebo Samuel's hurt. The Niners can limp through these three games and still be in a position to win, to make the playoffs as a wild card. They don't need to win the West to make the playoffs, obviously. So here's my statement. I want to get your opinion on this. I would much rather be a wild card team with my full roster at 100%. I'm talking D Ford's back from his hamstring, Kittle's back, Sanders is back, Deebo's back, Breida's back, McGlinchey, Staley, if they could be there. Like, get everybody back and get it full speed, because my defense can get me through a road game on the playoffs rather than be the number one seed and have to limp through the playoffs with this many injuries and hope that the offense can figure things out.
So are you talking about shutting some of those guys down for more than a couple of weeks?
Yeah. If I can get to a point where the playoffs are a lock and we secure a wild card spot, and that means we can lose all three of these next big games. We just have to beat the Rams. We have to beat Arizona, or we already beat Arizona. We have to beat the Rams. We have to beat
Seahawks.
There's one other one before the Seahawks. There's 6 games left. There's one more game peppered in there somewhere that we would have to win. And like I said, that's winning one of the three. We either beat the Saints or we beat the Packers. I don't know if we're going to be able to beat the Ravens. But win one of those games, maybe 2 of those games, even if we lose the Seahawks in Week 17, get me into the playoffs healthy versus getting me a home game with a Band-Aid put together squad.
Yeah, I can see that.
This defense is good enough to win on the road in the playoffs. But
the running game is good enough to win on the road in the playoffs if everybody's healthy.
The offense, though, the passing game is not the greatest.
Yeah, but if you have an offense that can keep the ball away from the opponent by running and killing clock, and then have a defense that can stop people, you don't necessarily need to be able to throw for 400 yards.
Right.
So I'm not sure I'm 100% behind what you say, because I think that bye is super important, because that gives you a little bit of time. That gives you basically 2 weeks or 13 days or whatever it is, to help get yourself a little bit more healthy.
What if they go into week 17 fully healthy? They don't even have to work. They can rest their guys in 17 against the Seahawks because they know they've locked in a playoff spot. You still get those 13 days essentially.
If they get if they
how many times has the number 1 seed come out rusty as hell because of the bye week too?
Yeah, but I don't think that's what I think the issue is. We got to give these guys time to get healthy.
Yeah.
And defense isn't going to get rusty. The running game's not going to get rusty. The what's going to get rusty is the timing for your passing game. And again, this team isn't built right now on Garoppolo's arm. They might in the next couple of years, but right now.
Don't start knocking Garoppolo, because I have.
I'm not. No. I'm not knocking Garoppolo at all. I'm just saying that, they're not a Patrick Mahomes. They're not the team's not built like that. The team's.
Wait a minute.
But no. Listen to what I'm saying. Hold on. Before you interrupt me, listen to what I'm saying. Those teams are pass first teams. They're built around throwing the ball. This team is built on defense and running the ball. So you don't need to rely on having Garoppolo throw for 400 yards, where we've pretty much seen over the last 3 or 4 weeks that the Chiefs need Mahomes to pass for 400 yards in order to be effective.
But the Niners have relied on Garoppolo. It's won them games. And since week 8, Jimmy Garoppolo's stats, since week 8, 1,165 passing yards. That's second in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And 11 touchdowns, first in the NFL. They're playing off of Garoppolo and winning these games. Furthermore, Jimmy Garoppolo on the 10 drives for the 49ers following one of his interceptions this season, he's 32 for 35 for 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and a 120 passer rating. Jimmy, go out there and throw an interception, let the defense stop him, and go score a fucking touchdown. That's all you got to do. Recipe for success, Super Bowl champions, 49ers.
Okay.
We're moving
on.
This is going to be a great game this week.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not here to get back in the presidential race. But you never know. I could be swayed. America needs me. Okay, now it's time for the most luxurious, amazing, incredible picks in the world. Mine. I'll take the Ravens to top the Bengals, even though that doesn't make sense because cats eat birds. I'll also take the Rams to beat the Seahawks, but who really cares? My upset pick is the Eagles to beat the Giants, and my wild card is the Bills to sink the Dolphins.
All right, boys, you heard his picks. Now it's your turn. Greg B, who you got?
Almost got one this week.
I know.
There was an NFC West game, but it wasn't the Rams and week to date or year to date, real quick on our picks. Jeff Jones 113, Tom Morgan 104, Anya Balcom 103, Josh Zimmerman 102, James Hines 101, Greg Bowl 99, Greg Veroza 98, TJ 94. We ain't doing too good. So if you're in a pick 'em and you want to do good, listen closely and then pick opposite of us.
Right.
This week, it looks like we all except for TJ took Houston in the Thursday night game.
I think TJ's just throwing darts at a board, or I think TJ, maybe one of his cats is he's got a bowl for home and away, and whatever cat goes and eats out of the food, that's what team he picks.
No shit. He just takes his glasses off and picks. Let's do your picks real quick. The Miami Dolphins versus the Cleveland Browns.
I'm going Cleveland.
I have Cleveland as well. Detroit Lions go to Washington.
Washington's horrible. I'm going Lions.
Same here. Buffalo Bills host the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos, I'm in one of those eliminator pools, and they almost fucked me the other day. Luckily, Minnesota came back, but I'm going Buffalo.
So am I. Tampa Bay travels to Atlanta.
Atlanta's playing well. I'm going to Atlanta.
I'm taking Tampa Bay. Seahawks go to the Eagles.
This pains me. I hate to even say this, but I'm taking the Seahawks.
I'm taking the upset this week. I'm taking the Eagles to beat the Seahawks in Philly. Falcons are not playing this game. The Panthers are going to the Saints.
I got the Saints.
The Steelers. Oh, so do I. Steelers travel to the 0-10 Bengals.
You mean the 0-11 Bengals?
Yes. The Raiders travel to the New York Jets.
I'm going Raiders.
We didn't even talk Raiders, but I have a firm belief that the Raiders are going to end up winning the AFC West.
They very well could. Absolutely.
They don't play anyone else the rest of the season except for Kansas City. They have a chance to run through the rest of this league, and I think they're good enough. I don't know. The Giants go to the Bears. Can we just throw a dart at this one?
I picked the Bears, but I'm reserving the right to change that at any time.
I had the Bears initially picked too, and I'm changing it. I'm not taking the Bears. The Bears, Mitchell Trubisky's a fucking scab on the tip of a whore's dick.
Oh, I know.
That's a terrible reference, by the way. The Jaguars go to the Titans.
I'm going to go Titans. They're at home. That's the only reason I'm going with them.
Cowboys travel to New England.
New England's going to kill them.
The Monday night game is the Ravens and the Rams.
I want to go Rams really bad. Right now, I'm going Rams.
I have the Ravens. And the last game, the only one that we care about, the 49ers host the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going Niners. I think their defense is going to play too well. I think Green Bay's defense in the beginning of the season was pretty highly touted, but they've been a big disappointment. So I'm going Niners.
Yep. So there's our picks. We'll talk about it again next week. Stay tuned to Facebook for updates on the stickers. Stickers are coming. I've gotten our logo. I've gotten the Sharks logo or the Sharks Talk guys logo. I'm working on a fucking punter and a damn it barn bomb that we're going to get mass produced and ready to go out. So keep your ears and eyes peeled to announcements on that. And it'll be a lot of fun. But for Greg Veroza, I'm Greg Bull. This was episode 296. We'll be back in 14 days. No, I'm just kidding. 9 days, whatever.
Whatever.
Next Sunday. We'll see you.
All right. Night, Larry.